So I just figured out my husband has been seeing his ex-girlfriend behind my back for the last 3 weeks. He actually went and met with her at the Pier, the same place we had our first date, just 1 day before he proposed to me. And guys, I'm learning all this right now, and I'm going to tell you, when I confronted his best friend Mac, I was told a secret I did not expect, and yes, it uplifted my entire life. But I'm not just gonna sit back and let this man emotionally cheat. No, I'm gonna do something about it. Well, I need to get this out before I lose my mind. 4 months married, almost 4 years together. And last night my husband Donald said something that is making me question everything. We live in this small coastal town in Maine where everyone knows everyone. Donald and I met at a mutual friend's lobster bake. Cliche, I know. He was the guy making everybody laugh with his terrible seafood puns while I was trying to avoid my ex who'd showed up uninvited. We just clicked. So 4 years later, here we are. Or were. I don't know. Last night started stupid. We missed my parents' monthly dinner because Donald got caught up at work. He does manage a boat repair shop. Not a huge deal, except it's the 3rd time since we got married. And Mom, Patty, already thinks that he doesn't prioritize family. I was washing dishes, maybe slamming them a bit harder than necessary, and he was just leaning against the counter, arms crossed, that defensive stance that he gets.
I said I was sorry. Your mom hates me anyways. Who cares?
She doesn't hate you. She thinks that you're not fully here sometimes.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
Nothing, forget it.
No, say it. Say what you think.
The argument escalated, stupid stuff, who does more housework, why he zones out during conversations, and why I always take my family's side. Then, out of nowhere, as I'm heading upstairs,
Linda was right. I rushed into this marriage.
The words hit like ice water, and I just stopped. Mid-step, my hand gripped the banister so hard my knuckles went white. Linda? His ex from 5 years ago? The one who cheated on him, destroyed his confidence, then tried to win him back right before she moved to Portland. Oh, that Linda. What did you just say?
His face went pale, and he says, "Oh, I didn't mean anything."
Oh, you talked to Linda. When? Silence. The refrigerator hummed, a boat horn sounded somewhere in the harbor, and my heartbeat thundered in my ears. I said, when, Donald?
The night before I proposed.
I locked myself in the guest room. I didn't cry. I really couldn't. I just sat on the bed staring at the lighthouse painting his mother gave us as a wedding gift, wondering how I missed it. Well, this morning, after neither of us slept, he tried to explain. Apparently, Linda texted him that night, "I need to talk to you, please," just that. After 3 years of no contact at all. And he went. Met her at the Marina coffee shop at 8 p.m. while I was at book club, thinking he was home planning his proposal. She was newly, freshly single, fresh out of what she called an abusive relationship, and wanted to apologize for how things ended between them. When he mentioned he was planning to propose to me that weekend, she told him that he was rushing into marriage and just making a huge mistake. She said that they had something special that he was trying to recreate with someone safe.
I told her she was wrong.
Donald insisted, his coffee getting cold between his hands. I told her I loved you and I left after 20 minutes. 20 minutes? 20 minutes? The kitchen table between us felt like an ocean. I said, you spent 20 minutes with your ex that night before you proposed to me and never said a word about it?
Oh, I didn't want to upset you. It really meant nothing.
Oh, if it meant nothing, why bring it up in a fight? Why is she suddenly right about us? He couldn't even answer that. Here's what's eating at me. It's not just that he met with her, it's the secrecy. The fact that in 4 years together, through planning a wedding, saying vows, buying his home, our home, he never mentioned it. And now I'm wondering what else he hasn't mentioned. There's also this. Last month, I was using his phone for GPS when a text preview popped up from someone saved as Marina number 2, just a thumbs up as a response to something. So when I asked about it, he said it's a work contact about boat slips. But why not use their actual name? Oh, and Mac, Donald's best friend, made this weird comment at our rehearsal dinner about Donald's, quote, wild night before getting the ring that Donald quickly laughed off, and I thought Mac meant bachelor party planning. Now, I'm not sure. So, Donald's been different since the fight. Overcompensating, flowers on the kitchen table, cooking elaborate dinners, texting me updates about his day. It just feels forced, like he's following a manual title about, quote, how to save your marriage after you messed up. My mom called this morning. She could tell something was wrong just from my hello. I didn't tell her everything, just that we fought, and she said, that boy has ghosts. She said, Trudy, question is whether you want to live in a haunted house or not. I keep replaying our conversation. I really do. Our entire relationship, looking for signs. Was he thinking about Linda when he proposed? When we got married, is she why he sometimes stares at his phone like he's waiting for something? I love him. Or I love who I thought he was. But now there's this crack in the foundation, and I don't know if it's been there all along or if I'm creating it by digging. He's at work now, texting me twice already, once with a photo of the harbor, once asking what I want for dinner, and I haven't responded. I'm sitting in our living room, looking at our wedding photos, wondering if that smile on his face was real or if he was thinking about what Linda said. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to pretend this never happened, and part of me wants to hire a PI. Part of me wants to drive to Portland and find Linda myself, ask her what exactly she thought she was doing. Guys, am I overreacting, or is my gut right that there's more to the story? I could really use some advice. What's up, everybody, man? So today's story is about to escalate. We are only on the main post. I do want to review a couple comments before we hop into the first update because, wow, they gave some good advice. The first comment says, girl, no. The night before proposing? That's not a coincidence. She knew what she was doing, and so did he. Trust your instincts. Comment 2 says, hey, I'll be the devil's advocate here. Maybe he needed closure before taking the next step. Still should have told you, though. The secrecy is the real issue. Comment number 3 says, hey, that Marina number 2 contact, that's what is the biggest red flag here. Come on. Suspicious AF. Check the phone bill if you have excess. Also, Mac knows something, I can promise you that. Fourth and final comment before we hop into the update says, anyone else notice he went from it meant nothing to her being right about rushing? Which is what? A red flag, Mr. Donald? Guys, if you're enjoying today's story, show a little love. Drop a comment down below. I personally read every single comment, and I love hearing from you guys. It's what makes me continue these stories. The first update came out exactly 1 week later. Edit. Adding this update to the original post so I don't have to start a whole new thread. Thank you to everybody who commented. I read every single one, even the harsh ones. You're right that I need answers. It's been a week. We're sleeping in separate rooms, him in our bedroom, me in the guest room that still smells like fresh paint from when he decorated it a month ago. Gosh, a month ago we were picking out curtains and talking about maybe making it a nursery someday. Now I can barely look at him. We have counseling booked for Tuesday, and Donald found this therapist, scheduled it, sent me the confirmation like he was turning it into a homework assignment. He's trying so hard, it's almost pathetic. Every morning there's fresh coffee in my favorite mug outside the guest room door. He's been leaving sticky notes with little messages like, I love you, I'm sorry, please talk to me, and I just put them in the drawer. I don't know why I don't throw them away. Yesterday he planned this whole elaborate thing. Texted me at work, and I managed a small bookstore downtown. He was asking if we could have dinner at Sandy's Seafood Shack. Oh, I love that place. We actually went there on our first official date. When I got home, he laid out the small outfit. Wow, it was the same one I wore that night. How does he even remember that? It was a note that said, "Can we start over? I love this outfit on you." I went. Maybe that makes me weak, but I went, okay? They have the best lobster bowl. The drive there was quite, really quiet. Except for the radio playing some old 90s song about second chances. He planned it. Donald kept glancing at me, opening his mouth like he wanted to say something. He looked like a fish out of water. His hands gripped the steering wheel exactly 10 and 2. So careful, so precise. So unlike the Donald who usually drives one-handed while telling stories with the other and reaching in his pocket for a cigarette. Sandy's was the same as always. Just nets on the wall, buoys, couples sharing fried clams, tourists taking photos of their lobster rolls, and we just sat at our table in the corner, the one with the wobbly leg that Donald usually fixes with a couple sugar packets.
Yeah, remember when you got sauce all over your face that first time? I thought you were going to die of embarrassment, but I had a handkerchief.
No, I remember you pretending not to notice while I destroyed 6 napkins, and then you put out the handkerchief after. For a moment, it felt normal. Well, then our food came, and the weight of everything settled back down.
I need you to understand, Linda. Linda, she messed me up. When she cheated when she left, I didn't think I'd ever trust anyone again. Then I met you, and you were so different, so genuine, so... I interrupted him with the one word I knew he was going to say, safe. Oh, he said that's not what I meant.
But it's what she said, isn't it, that I was safe, that you were settling, and he burst out, she's wrong. Okay, then why did you say she was right? The question hung there while our food got cold. It was so cold it was like the lobster were back in the ocean. A family at the next table laughed at something their toddler did. Normal people. Wow, normal people have normal lives.
Well, I don't know. I was angry and it just came out like verbal vomit. The stupidest thing I've ever said.
I wanted to believe him. Gosh, I wanted to. But my mother called while I was getting ready for dinner, and she said something that stuck. Honey, men don't bring up old flames and fights unless there's unfinished business. You have to trust me on this. I've been around the block. Trust me, your father tried it once or maybe a dozen times. My brother Gary texted me next.
Need me to come up there? I can be there in 3 hours.
He's never liked Donald. Said he smiled too much for someone with complicated eyes. And, guys, I'm gonna be real with you. My brother Gary is like a detective who turned the wrong path. The thing is, Donald's trying so hard, but it feels like a performance, like he's acting out scenes from a Good Husband movie. Even at dinner, he kept reaching for my hand, and when I would yank away, he would leave his sitting there on the table, palm up, waiting. We barely touched a lobster roll. He paid, we drove home in silence, and when we got back, he said, "I'll do whatever it takes. Therapy, couples counseling, anything." I just need you to know I choose you. I choose you then, and I choose you now. Guys, sounds like pretty words, but I just kept thinking, that 20 minutes at the marina. What exactly did they talk about for 20 long minutes? You know what you can do in 20 minutes? You can run a 10-minute mile twice. Why did her opinion matter enough to stick in his head? And why do I feel like I'm only getting half the story out? Tomorrow, I'm going to ask Mr. Mac about his wild night comment, and Donald doesn't even know. Maybe that makes me as guilty as a secret as he has, but I need someone else's perspective, someone who was there. The hardest part was at night, I promise. I still reach for him. Muscle memory, I guess. 4 years of falling asleep to his breathing, and now the guest room feels like a boat lost at sea. I can hear him moving around our bedroom, probably not even sleeping either. So this morning, there was a new note under the door. "I know I broke something, please let me fix it." But how do you fix something when you're not even sure how badly it's broken, or if it was ever whole to begin with? Guys,
The next update number 2, came out 2 days before counseling, and this is when things get a lot worse. Here is one of the comments from the previous post. It says, the fact that he's love bombing you instead of giving you space to process, that's concerning. This feels like manipulation. And the second comment says, hey, talk to Mac ASAP. Best friends always know more than they should. Hopefully he speaks. Here it is, guys. Update number 2.
I'm shaking as I type this. It's 11 p.m. and I'm sitting in my car in my parents' driveway because I can't go home yet, damn it. This morning started normally. Donald left for work early, left his usual coffee and note, and I was actually starting to feel slightly better. Counseling is in 2 days, maybe we could work from there, and then his phone buzzed. He was in the shower. His phone was on the dresser, and I was grabbing my earrings, and I wasn't going to look, I swear, but the preview showed the lock screen. Unknown number. I'll be at the pier at 9, just talk to me. The area code was 207. Hello, Portland. My hands went cold. I sat on the bed just staring at the phone until the screen went dark. Donald came out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, humming some song, and he stopped when he saw my face and he said, "What's wrong?" I couldn't speak. I just pointed at his phone and he picked it up, saw the message, and his whole body language changed. Shoulders tensed, that muscle in his jaw was tensing and twitching, the same muscle I used to think looked so good.
Oh, it's not what you think.
Really? Because what I think is that Linda is texting you right now while we're trying to save a marriage.
I don't know how she got my new number.
Donald?
I swear I haven't talked to her since that night.
I left for work without another word and spent the whole day distracted, snapping at customers, mixing up orders, and my coworkers asked if I'm okay. How do you explain to them that no, I'm not okay, and I don't feel like explaining to Margaret down the street what book she should read next? At 8:45 p.m. I made a decision. Told Donald I was going to my parents' house. Instead, I drove to the pier. Oh yeah, I parked down the street, walked along the harbor walk where I could see the benches, and there he was, my husband, sitting alone on the bench where we watched fireworks last 4th of July, and he wasn't looking at his phone, just staring at the water with his little hands in his pockets. And then I saw her. She was standing by the railing about 20 feet away, smoking a cigarette. Probably gave him the bad habit. Dark hair in a messy bun, oversized sweater, the kind of, well, beauty that makes you understand why men do stupid things. She's the type of women men go to war for. She kept glancing at Donald, then back at the water. They weren't talking, but there was something in the air between them, like magnets aware of each other's pull. So I watched for 5 minutes, and they did not approach each other. They didn't speak, no, but they were both there at 9 p.m. at the pier. I wanted to confront them, march over there and demand an answer. Instead, I just walked back to my car and drove straight to my parents' house. My mother took one look at me and poured me a glass of wine. It's like she understands me. My dad made himself scarce, ran up to his little hole in the wall where he keeps his beers. Gary showed up within an hour, must have sped the whole way from Boston. I knew it. I knew something was off about him. My brother is really determined. So I'm counseling tomorrow, right? Yeah, I still went. Donald claimed it was an accidental bump in, said the text was old from weeks ago, that he ignored it, and when I asked why he was there then, he said he needed to think. Oh, it's just a coincidence that she's there too. So, the therapist, this soft-spoken woman named Dr. C, I'm not going to reveal her real name, asked how that made me feel. Like I'm being gaslit, I said. Donald actually started crying. This full-grown man had big ugly tears, said, I'm not lying, I didn't plan to see her, she was just there. At that exact Pier mentioned in the text. I don't know, maybe she knows I go there sometimes. How would she know that? Silence. So Doctor suggested we take a break from the session, and Donald went to the bathroom, and when we reconvened, he admitted that he had been confused lately, that seeing Linda had stirred up an old feeling, and he thought that it was gone, dead.
But I love you. I love our life now.
I said our life, or the idea of it, Donald. After counseling, Gary was waiting in the parking lot and told me that he had a chat with Donald while I was inside my car. Won't tell me what it was, but Donald looked shaken when I saw him walking to his truck. Now Donald's texting me apologies, says Gary's threatening him, says he understands why my family hates him, and says he'll go to therapy alone. Figure out why he's so messed up. But here's what's really messing with me. I don't think he's actively planned to meet her. I think he's telling the truth about that. But he went to that pier hoping she would be there. Some part of him wanted to see her, even if he won't admit it to himself. My mom just brought me tea. She says, "You know what you need to do, honey." Well, the question is whether you're ready to or not. I don't know if I am, but I can't keep living like this. Investigating my own husband, questioning every text and late night. This isn't a marriage, it's a crime scene where I'm both detective and victim. Tomorrow, I'm going to ask him to stay somewhere else for a while. I need space to think without his sad eyes and coffee offerings. Maybe that makes me the bad guy, you know? I don't really care anymore. Update number 3. 3 weeks later, yeah, it's the final update. Edit. I don't even know how to title this. So I've started this update 12 times, deleted it 11, here's 12, because how do you explain something insane? Donald moved in with Mac for a temporary separation after my last update, and we've been doing individual therapy. Barely talking except about logistics. I thought I was starting to find some clarity. Started to think that maybe we could either work through this or cleanly end it. Then yesterday happened. My mom showed up at the bookstore at lunch with her "we need to talk" face. She had her phone out, pulled up Facebook, and said, "Gary's friend from Portland sent this to him. Thought you should see it." It was a photo from 2 nights ago, Donald and Linda at the pier again. But this time they were hugging, not a quick, friendly hug, the kind where her face was buried in his neck, his hand in her hair, the kind that breaks a heart. I threw up in the bookstore bathroom, like really threw up. I'll let those tacos from the taqueria get the best of me. My coworker sent me home. I drove to Mac's apartment. Donald's truck was there. I banged on the door until Mac answered, looking uncomfortable. I said, "Let me in."
"Oh, he's not here, Trudy."
"His truck is here."
"He walked to the marina, been gone for a while."
"Of course he has." I found him at the coffee shop, our coffee shop, the one that we'd spent Sunday mornings planning our future, and he was alone, just staring at his phone. I sat down across from him, and he looked up, and I've never seen him look so tired. I said, "I saw the photo." He didn't deny it, didn't try to explain, he just nodded.
"I'm lost, Trudy. I don't know what I'm doing."
"Are you sleeping with her?"
"Oh, no, God, no. We just talk."
"About what?"
"Everything. Nothing. What we should have done different, why we were so toxic together, why I can't let her go."
The honesty was almost worse than lies that would have been. I said, "Do you love her?"
"I don't know. I love the idea who she could have been, who we could have been. I know it's stupid."
"Do you love me?"
"Yeah, but..."
"But?"
But it's different. You're real. She's a possibility."
We just sat there in silence with the coffee shop playing some indie song about timing, and a couple at the next table were planning their wedding. Ironic. The universe has a sick sense of humor, I'll tell you. I told him I'm done. Whatever this is, I'm done being a part of it. This man stood up and started to cry again.
"I know I'm destroying everything. I can't seem to stop."
I stood to leave, and he grabbed my hand and he said, "Trudy."
I said, "Don't you dare."
But here's where it gets absolutely insane. This morning, I woke up to 27 missed calls from Donald, 15 from Mac, 10 from numbers I don't even know, and Linda was arrested last night. Linda was arrested last night.
She broke into a boat at the marina, high on something, according to the police reports, and when they searched her, she had a notebook full of letters to Donald, dated over the last 3 years, letters that she never sent. She also had our wedding program and a copy of what looked like a draft wedding vow. Not hers, mine. The ones that I'd written and thrown away because they were too raw, too honest, and it was the ones I tossed into the marina dumpster the week before our wedding because I wanted to write something prettier. She'd been collecting those things, following our story, and Donald swears he had no idea. The police found her car with photos of us, of our house, of me at the bookstore, and Donald's at the police station now. They wanted to know if he's been encouraging her, so he called me, panicked, swearing he didn't know that she was going to go this far.
I thought she was just, I don't know, she was sick.
Guys, there's this thing about haunting me. In one of her letters, she wrote about watching him the night before he proposed, watching him pace outside the coffee shop for 20 minutes before coming inside, how she knew that he was going to propose to someone else, how she's been watching him for months waiting for the right moment to reach out. Which means when Donald met her that night, thinking it was just a text out of the blue, she's been planning it, orchestrating it, and some part of me wonders, did Donald really not know? Or did he not want to know? So Mac called an hour ago, said Donald's a mess, says he's finally seeing how deep this can go, it's a rabbit hole, and wants to know if I'll talk to him. I don't know what to say to any of this. My husband emotionally cheated with his ex, who turns out to be a stalker, who's been obsessed with our entire relationship, and she's in custody, he's in shock, and I'm sitting in my mom's guest room looking at our wedding photos, wondering if any of it was ever real. My dad brought me some soup, didn't say anything, just squeezed my shoulder. Gary's been texting threats about what he'll do to Donald if he comes near me. My mom set up the guest room with all my favorite things from my childhood, my old quilt, the lamp I packed out 16 years ago, the books I used to read over and over.
Stay as long as you need, she said.
Sometimes coming home is the only way forward. Donald left 17 voicemails. I haven't listened to any of them. Tomorrow I'm calling a lawyer. Not for divorce, not yet. Just to understand my options, because I honestly don't know if this is something you can come back from. How do you trust someone who could not see what was right in front of him? Who opened a door to chaos and then acted surprised when it walked in? I loved him. Love him, maybe. But I can't love someone who doesn't know the difference between real life and a possibility. Between a partner and a ghost, between moving forward and looking back. So for now, I'm staying at my mother's. I'm just taking each day as it comes, and for now, that has to be enough. I don't know if Donald will make it through this. I don't know if I want us to. All I know is that Linda was wrong about one thing. He didn't rush into marriage. If anything, he never even showed up.